Kekenhun Menteri Jongka Sorkar Meghalaya haga jingelang ke belalong haga kendai terik rumpang kala Mynjur ban Pynjanai ya ka ain ka beade bik jingtei ki ying kesem Meghalaya building bylaw arajar arpoi kat kum ki kendon balabut ka Sorkar India kenang bik ying kesem kenlong ki baskem ki bampalat iki mala balabut na kebenta ki jaka lum ki bakhe kha ujumai bat bantingkai ki jaka klem de penle no na kebenta ki briu ki badon kendiat ke jaka puta Kawai pat kamat baka kenhun Menteri Kabinet kala Mynjur ban Pynjanai ya ke Shillong Urban Mobility Policy arajar arpasau ban penlong ya ke sor Shillong ka balat na ke jingkap nya ha ka baki briu kin yo alat ban net ban wan ha ki lenti ki bakelot ki balat na ke jingwet bat jingkap nya ka babiang ki kali ket briu public transportation bat bandon ki jaka yang kali ki babiang kenang baki pat ba kin net kin wan dak besok Kesorkar India kala mangkat san hajar kelur tingka na kebenta kini kijing temu. Kesorkar Meghalaya kala pan rius pak kat kendai kelur tingka balas nguthu ba kesorkar India kala Mynjur ban bay pisa san spak kelur tingka na kebenta kiti kijing temu ba ke kabinet kala Mynjur ban pen kala bat Pynjanai mentah sengi. Kesorkar kala Mynjur ru ban wan ra bat penteri kami ki kendon batamai na kebenta ki engineer jangka PWD the Meghalaya Engineering Public Works Department Service Rules arajar arpasau haka jaka jangka service rules kat kendai spak kendai pesan.
We had 5 formal items that were discussed and cleared. The first was the draft governor's address for 2024. So that was, of course, shared with the cabinet and it has been approved. So that was the first item. The second was the ordinance that was done earlier of the Meghalaya Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2006. If you recall that we had put an ordinance to it a few months back, that ordinance and others which also follow, but this particular ordinance was taken up today. An ordinance which was already cleared earlier was taken up to be now put in as a format of a bill. So the Meghalaya Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2006 that has been formally now approved as a bill which will be taken up in the assembly. The third was that the Meghalaya Engineering Public Works Department Service Rules 1995 that had to be amended because certain changes were there, or many changes rather were there. So instead of amending it, we have come out with fresh rules, and hence we have scrapped the old rules and we have brought in the new rules. Basically, we could have gone with amendment also, but as I said, the amendments, there were so many of them that it would be easier to just simply come up with the fresh set of rules. So today, the Meghalaya Engineering Public Works Department Service Rules 2024 has been approved by the cabinet. The fourth was the approval that was given to some amendments to the Meghalaya Building Bylaws 2021 for sustainable urban development in Meghalaya. These amendments are being done in line with certain provisions and certain conditions that has been put in by Government of India, number one, and also to ensure that overall safety of the buildings are there, and also to ensure that the smaller land holdings, there could be more utilization of the land by small land owners, because earlier there were some restrictions in terms of the gap that you had to leave from the front, in the rear, and the sides, and so that has been reduced. And some other amendments have been made, for example, to the height of the buildings that are permissible, and also to the construction of buildings in areas which are 50 degrees and higher slopes. Certain provisions will apply. So those kind of amendments have been made. If you wish, then we can give more details later. And the last was regarding the approval of the Shillong Urban Mobility Policy 2024 was also cleared. Basically, this again is in line with the Government of India, where ensure that the overall mobility in Shillong improves, a policy has to be created, and we have cleared that policy today. And this includes aspects of public transportation, creating more walking space, reducing the congestions, and creating parking spaces, so on and so forth. There are many, many other provisions. So this policy just gives an outline on how we will approach that. And this was cleared today by the cabinet. But most importantly, I would like to mention that both the amendment to the Meghalaya Building Bylaws 2021 and the Shillong Urban Mobility Policy 2024, these amendments and these particular policies have also been adopted with the intention of also ensuring that we are able to avail the special assistant on capital investment for urban areas. As you're aware, that Government of India has earmarked 15,000 crores for as special assistance for capital investment, especially for urban areas. And in that, there are certain guidelines that need to be followed, certain policies need to be created, certain homework to be done. So, keeping all of those things in mind, all these things have been done. And I'm happy to inform you that out of the 15,000 crores, we have put in a proposal of 619 crores from Meghalaya's point of view. And we have already received approval for close to 500 crores out of this. And we're expecting another 100 crores to come in after these approvals and these amendments are done. So we are expecting that Meghalaya should receive 597 crores. But even if the 100 crores is still pending, we are expected to get 497, almost 500 crores from the Special Assistant on Capital Investment for Urban in this particular financial year. What is more important to note also is that even larger states like Uttar Pradesh and larger states like Assam also are receiving roughly about 500 crores, which is the same as what Meghalaya is expected to receive. So hence, we've been working very hard, and Urban Affairs Department has worked very hard. And as I said, we are able to get some additional funds for the overall development of Shillong and other urban areas. This is the same fund that will be utilized for things like the riverfront, improvement that we had inaugurated the other day. We had laid the foundation stone the other day. Some parking lots to be created, some walkways to be created. So on and so forth. We have put in a number of proposals for that also. So these were the basic decisions that were taken in the cabinet. If Meghalaya's absorption capacity was not up to the mark, then we would not be able to absorb 700 to now 2,000 crores. If Meghalaya's absorption capacity was not there, then in Jal Jeevan we would not be able to absorb the 1,200, 1,300 crores we're getting this year, and getting a bonus every year in Jal Jeevan. If Meghalaya's absorption capacity was not there, then the 140,000 PMAY houses, we have already come to the last utilizations. You see that is about 300 crores. We have already utilized 1,200 crores this year, which is a record because all the years put together, we have got more houses this year and constructed them within this year compared to the last 20 years. So therefore, it's not as simple as mentioned by certain officials. There are problems because there are a lot of guidelines and a lot of provisions that are there in NEC and donor ministry, which we have flagged in the NEC meeting. Like, for example, I'll just give you, once we say, suppose start a project, and suppose tomorrow we have to change the scope of work to whatever level that has to be done because, say, the soil condition was bad or some permissions were not received or land was falling short. The process of sending that back to NEC and getting the entire approval again done takes months. Sometimes they send it again to to line department of, say, the tourism ministry to get their views from Government of India, or they will ask for experts to be brought in, consultants to be brought in, and this kind of process and procedure just makes life very difficult. So therefore, you will see that in NEC and donor, most states are not able to absorb because of the different kind of provisions that are there, which I don't blame. They have to do their homework, but as I said, if the absorption capacity was not there, then we would not be able to absorb either Jal Jeevan Mission, nor the IPMAY, nor the Special Assistant on Capital Investment. So therefore, the fact that we are able to absorb double of what was budgeted for us in those schemes, which is in thousands of crores. Just to give you an example, NEC's entire year's budget is 1900 crores for all the northeastern states. The capital investment fund that we are absorbing is 2000 crores just from one scheme. So therefore, it just reflects that if we can absorb 2,000 crores from capital investment, then why can't we do from NEC? So therefore, there must be some issues that are there. And those are the issues I've explained to you right now, that there are too many procedures, too many aspects that are there, complications, too many approvals to be taken, which just keeps going back and forth. I'll just give you some example of the turmeric mission, the Lakarong mission. We had asked for some processing units to be given. There was a 5 crore amount. So then a better technology came by the time we got the sanctions. So we wanted that technology to be enhanced. So we asked NEC to approve that. That approval has not come till now. So if that's just simply said, it's the same thing, it's the same purpose is the same, but technology is different. And if approvals were given, then it would be very easy. But again, as I said, NEC has got its own guidelines, its own procedures, which we don't blame. They have to follow that. But if the ministry would streamline those procedures, which I had mentioned in the NEC meeting, then we would be able to utilize things in a much faster pace. So therefore, there is a lot of homework to be done in that aspect. Another thing which you mentioned about NEC, I'm thankful to our NEC secretary. He mentioned that he will be giving 10 crores for the Yodo construction and rehabilitation, not rehabilitation, construction and renovation. So we are happy to announce that already state government has initiated the process, and 5 crores tender has already been floated for the improvement of the nalas and the footpath in Yodo. So this is already started. So the NEC's sanction, if it comes through, then it will be a great help to us. But in that Yodo aspect also, we will be getting funds from the special capital also, a special assistant for capital investment to do that. And the first phase, as I said, has already been tendered. We should be allotting the work in about a week's time or 10 days' time. And we're hoping that the road, the footpath and the Nala construction will start in Yodo. And whatever additional funds NEC will support us with, we'll be happy to utilize that also.
Sir,
There's nothing called full implementation, but like, for example, the parking lots, already about 3-4 locations already have been tendered out, and the work will start there. We expect about 3-4 of them to be complete so we have about 1,200 plus parking spaces for vehicles that are in the pipeline. We expect 50% of that maybe to be completed in this financial year and 50% to be completed in next financial year. We are looking at anything between 10 to 15 kilometers of walking space, which earlier we had envisaged as having skywalks. But as I said, the skywalks are becoming an issue because of the construction and the congestion it will cause further during the construction time. And hence, we are looking at combining the walking spaces, and wherever smaller skywalks can be done without disturbing the traffic. So planning for that, and hopefully work for that should start very soon. We're looking at converting some of the government lands into parks and spaces to be created for movement and expansion of the roads. We are looking at, for example, a complete overhaul of Watts Lake. So in Watts Lake, if you've seen just behind the wall, opposite the entry of Watts Lake, and just before the DC bungalow, you must have seen some construction going on there. So that is a parking lot for Watts Lake, which we're creating. And there's going to be some shops where the restaurant as well as the hawkers will be moved. So the whole area from all the way from the junction of Pinewood all the way down to the Botanical Garden, you will find no vehicles being parked, no thing, because they'll all be shifted on top. So like this, there are many processes. So it's not like that it will be all done in a matter of a year or 2 years or 3 years. It's a process that will continue. But as I said, now that the policy is in place, it gives us a direction and a guideline and a vision on how we should move forward. And every vision will be then accommodated, will be worked out with a detailed. working plan of how we will move forward. And some things are already happening, and some more are in the pipeline. There was almost an hour and 15-minute presentation we saw on it, so there were a lot of things. I can't remember half of them, but as I said, we will share as and when the time is appropriate.
So,